friends, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots.
Information on all of our sponsors and events that we have coming up will be at the end of the episode. Real quick, we do want to highlight one of our sponsors, McFly's Pub. McFly's Pub is a 1980s Back to the Future themed bar with a very impressive outdoor area and a fire pit. Hang out and bring some friends for pool, darts, cornhole, jumbo Jenga. There's always something going on at McFly's Pub, located here in Fort Worth, just outside of the East Gate for the military base, NASJRB Carswell. And an event that we want to tell you about at the front end of this episode is June 24th out at Pouring Glory. We're doing something called Podcast and Networking. Anybody that would like to be on the Fort Worth Roots podcast is encouraged to come out there. If you have something that you're trying to promote, come on out, enjoy some great food, great beer, good people. There's also going to be a dog rescue from the city of Fort Worth there on June 24th. It's just going to be a good time and a great way for you to promote your music, your art, your business, whatever you got going on. Again, that's going to be June 24th out at Pouring Glory. It starts at 11 o'clock, and we're going to go until probably 8 or 9 o'clock that night. It's going to be a whole day of activities, so check that out. If you want to reserve a spot, because we're going to get through as many people as we can, if you'd like to reserve a spot, hit me up. media@fortworthroots.com is our email, and let me know that you're interested in doing a recording and highlighting your business, your podcast, your music, or your art. This is our last installment of the coverage for the Psychedelic Panther Festival that we were out this year 2, out at Lola's. And if you missed it this year, no hard feelings. We're pretty sure Joe's going to put it on next year. Again, it's gotten very popular. Psychedelic Panther. You can find them on Facebook and kind of track the progress and see what's going to go down this upcoming year for Season 3 of the Psychedelic Panther. In this episode, we sit down with Lucas Peterson and Darren Houk, two friends of the show that have been on multiple times. That's the front end of the episode, and I'm actually not even included in that. Lucas was kind of interviewing Darren, and Darren was kind of interviewing Lucas as they're sitting there at the Psychedelic Panther at our Fort Worth Roots podcast, mobile podcast studio. And then after Lucas and Darren, our most ridiculous leg of the entire recording process out there at the Psychedelic Panther, we sit down with Jeff Zero, who unfortunately actually didn't get to say a whole lot. He brought in a friend that we had made talking to people, this guy named Martin. And he's traveling the country, and we thought we could get some really interesting stories out of him, and it just did not happen. Martin had way too much fun that evening, and we waited a little too late to get him in front of the microphone. Two people that we met, Caitlin and Harrison, that were from outside of Fort Worth that just randomly found the Psychedelic Panther, and Waffles Weekly, along with James Benjamin Maker, sit down and hang out with us for a minute. And there's a little bit of a language warning with this one. We had some fun at the festivities. We had a few drinks, so it gets a little bit off the rails. And if you stick around past the Lucas and Darren portion of the show, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. Thank y'all for being here. That's enough talking out of me, and let's start the show.
You are running for mayor? Is that true?
That is true.
Wow, is this the announcement? Okay, so the first podcast I did was the Uber one, which was fun. We talked a lot about just driving stuff, and we'd share stories and all that stuff. That was fun. And then
So you were actually an Uber driver. And
yeah.
You said you had a girl that was also an Uber driver. So
Yep.
y'all didn't do this driving down the road with passengers? It's
No.
like you came back to the studio afterwards.
Yep. Yeah, we never recorded passengers. And I don't know if I've ever talked about this on here, but I
Spill it.
had 50 or 60 episodes, and there was 1 week where I had like concentrated San Francisco listens, like 60.
Really?
And they were, yep, and it was just this big circle that was real, and he could show you on his map too, because we had the same provider.
Right.
And then I got fired. They fired me. So
From where?
From Uber.
Uber?
Yep.
You got fired. Okay, now we open up a different can of worms.
yeah, so I
How
think.
do you get fired from Uber?
Well, and I had like a 4.96 or 9.7 at the time rating.
Right.
So I was really good. I had 9,000 trips. plenty of trips. Didn't have any I had incidents.
Wait. 9,000 trips.
Yeah, now that's low.
So I've never been an Uber driver, but that's astonishing. How long does it take to get 9,000 trips?
It was about 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
and you're
fun.
saying that's low now.
It's low now. Yeah, there's people with like 30,000. I'm still like on the Facebook groups and whatnot just to follow what's going on, and it's tough now. Like I don't know how these drivers are making it now. But yeah, I had that concentrated week where they heard something I talked about and they didn't like it, and they just fired me. And then when I inquired,
so you got fired because of the podcast?
Yeah, I'm almost certain. They never told me.
Okay.
Like they would not tell me anything about why they let me go. They just were one day, and it was really weird too because it was the middle of a driving day. Like I had just dropped someone off at the hotel. It was the Omni or something, and then I went to log on, and it just gave me this error, and I was like, "What's going on?" And then I couldn't log back in. So then I contacted them.
Unplugged you.
I was like, "What happened?" And they're like, "Oh, we show you've been deactivated." And I was like, "Huh? What? Like, what's going on?" Well, you have to contact. And I did that and never got an explanation. So I was like, "Well," and it wasn't until a time after that when I saw the correlation between the listens and the firing, and I was like, "Oh."
So let's go back to that then. So what were they hearing in San Francisco that was all a buzz? So were they in favor of what you're saying?
I don't think so.
So controversy gets listeners without a doubt.
There was another driver I talked to. His name was Larry. I don't think he's driving anymore. But actually there was two other drivers I talked to really close to that time. And the other guy has another interesting job. I'll tell you off the recording, but he drove as well, and we just had both of them didn't have very favorable things to say, not directly about the company, but just about some of the things that were going on.
Right.
And I don't know if you remember, I don't think he was involved, but there was a lot of controversy going on during this time about the CEO and the founder, Travis.
Oh, I missed that.
Travis Kalanick or something like that. It was a great Showtime series they did about him because he was a bit of an interesting guy. So I think there was something in there, and I never went back and listened, but there was something in there that they just didn't like, and they were like, "Man, we don't need this guy. Bye-bye."
Wow.
There was only one other podcast that I found, a guy that was doing the same thing, and he's still doing it. He's called the Rideshare Guy, which I thought was a pretty clever name.
There you go. Yeah,
but
he's not limited to one.
Oh yeah, there's my beer. Correct. Yeah, he did both. Yeah, and Darren's like, "Where's mine? Where's mine?" So.
Crown 7.
Oh. No beer for him.
No, I'm good.
So then the second one I did was and it was I can't remember the time frame or if there was an overlap or there was going to be an overlap.
The first one.
Oh my gosh, that's a good question too.
I didn't know. I'm not sure that I knew that Uber went that far back. And I'm sure I didn't know that, well, podcasting's gone back a long ways, but I didn't know it had gone back, I know the Joe Rogans and the big guys, but as far as...
Adam Carolla.
As far as local guys that actually get an audience like you guys now. So I didn't realize that goes back that far.
We're talking at least 4 years ago that time frame was. At least, because I know it was... So Megan, you just saw the redhead on my magnets here. We had met a few months, about 2 months prior to me being fired. In fact, so that's always like my time frame. And she knows this. She's
still in your life?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, very much so. She's
really
at home.
Good since you just got magnets
I know,
with her
right?
face on it, Otherwise, we're gonna have to talk here.
We're gonna have to tell her. I'll be like, oh wait, sorry, never mind.
That guy stalking you? He's got magnets, buttons and stuff.
Oh man, you're bringing back some memories. Yeah, so then the second one I did, and I'm trying to think if they were going on concurrently. I think there was a little bit of a gap there, maybe. But I did one completely about a band. And when I went to look and did my research, nobody had podcasts all about a band. And I was like,
a singular band.
One band.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And it was a band that was really, really close and near to me. And I just thought, hey, I'm influenced a lot by these guys. I know a lot of their stories. I follow all these groups, and I see all these stories that people are talking about of how much they've affected these people. Why not share these stories? And so I did it.
Oh, very cool.
And I was just like, and I did a lot of research of like, can I use their music?
Who was the band? Was it
Blue October?
Big time or local?
You know,
I'm an old man, so I don't know some of the same bands that you know.
They're big here. They're bigger here in Texas than probably anywhere. They had some big hits. They had a song called Hate Me. That's probably their biggest song,
right.
But that would have been, oh my gosh, 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, they're old people now then.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, they're dads who tour. Literally, they
Right.
make fun of themselves. They're called dads who tour.
That's great.
The coolest thing about that show, though, is I got to interview the violinist, the bassist. He interviewed the bassist as well, and the singer. So, like,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I got way, way in depth. And then the reason that show ended is a whole long story that's not worth sharing because it's a whole lot of drama. And I was like, okay. But the cool part about that show is the fact that I got to use the music, and telling stories with music just lit me up. And
yeah, and the background to the individual song and what
yes,
that means to
yes.
Yeah, that's great.
And it wasn't even, they didn't even have to necessarily, the guest or whoever's story I was telling or whatever I was talking about, didn't have to relate directly, or it wasn't always directly that song, but like telling the story, their story with the music, and like using that, it was just, I was like, oh, this is what they do in like Hollywood.
Right.
And then,
right. Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
Watching TV and watching movies now, there's like a whole new appreciation of it.
You look at it totally different.
Way differently. In fact, do you like Clint Eastwood?
Absolutely.
Do you like his directing, his movies?
Yeah, for the most part. I don't always know what he's involved with, but everything that I've seen so far that I know he's directed, which he's a lot behind the scenes. But yeah. I like him.
2 of his movies that he was actually in and he directed, well, I can think of 3 of them, but 2 of the bigger ones is The Mule and $1 Million Baby.
Okay.
And
right.
Gran Torino. I'm
Gran
sorry.
Torino.
There's 3 of them. Oh, there you go.
All right, Delivery.
If you watch them again, try to listen to the song. And I'll give you a spoiler. There's
got a
no
good
music.
soundtrack?
There's no music. No, and that's what makes his movies and it's a totally different appreciation. He does not use sound. He does not use music. He's directing without music.
That's real interesting. I'll have to.
Next time you see a Clint Eastwood movie, watch.
I used to be a amateur video guy. So
okay.
I listen to music more than other people because, like, especially you go to indie films and we do some film festivals and things like that as spectators, But that seems to be the thing that either the music jumps at you so much that it takes away from the movie, or the Foley sound of the one of the ones that I remember early on of an amateur is like had them walking through the forest and the crunching of the leaves, but it was so loud that I'm noticing the crunching of the leaves. So
yeah,
the mix was not good.
Okay.
But it made me have an appreciation for all these movies that I've seen that I'm hearing leaves and not thinking about them.
Exactly.
Or the music that definitely takes your emotions, like suspense, especially where the music builds up, to where you're expecting something to happen or whatever.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine it, especially a Clint Eastwood movie, not having the music to help direct
so
your
cool.
thoughts that way. So,
or do
Gran
this.
Torino is one of my. I love that movie. So
movie's great.
I'm curious to see that now.
Next time you're watching a movie on Netflix, and maybe it's a movie you've seen before, turn the captions on and watch how they describe the music. They add descriptors to it.
To what the music is.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that you can
I
give
guess
the
I've seen
audience
that a little bit where it's soft background.
Yes, that's what it said. Or say pensive music or dramatic outtake or, stuff like that. And it's like, I wonder who gets to describe that. Like, who gets to write
Well, but
that?
if you're the person that can't hear, do you really get the same feeling by reading that as we do by subtly hearing it? Because that's what I'm saying, is it should be subtle unless you're doing a movie about a band or about music where that's up front.
I agree.
Like Mark Nobles in his Music and Arts a Go-Go, or Tina Go-Go, excuse me, documentary about rock and roll music, garage bands in Fort Worth. So that whole kind of deal goes totally different where the music's up front. But
sure,
like I say, normally it's in the background and it's moving your emotions no matter what. So,
and that's your music. There is your central focus, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
so you had a third podcast. What was that?
That was the political one that never got off the ground. And it was fun, though. I was so bummed because it was two guys that had been friends for like 40-some years. They were friends in like middle school. They met, and middle school through like Jesuit high school, if I'm getting the term right.
Right.
And then they kind of went their separate ways. I don't think they went to college together. Maybe they went to a Jesuit college. Either way. But they were very, very opposite. And so the premise was two guys that loved each other, absolutely loved each other, and could have these long conversations, and some of them were long, some of our recordings were long, about the political climate and what's going on in the world. And you had the two different takeaways.
And they were polar opposites on the political end of
sometimes.
things. Yeah.
Sometimes. One was an attorney, one was an architect. So then you've got the logical mind and the creative mind.
The right brain, the left brain,
Yeah, but what I wanted to do with that was show that, like, okay, these conversations are possible. You can have conversations where there's the differences, and at the end of the day, they're still laughing and they love each other. And we're missing that. Like, I thought that would have been somewhat enlightening because I don't think people can do that anymore.
So, yeah. One of my longest, oldest best friends is exactly that. We are polar opposites on those things. We're close enough friends. When we were young adults, we roomed together. We argued then. We worked together. So we actually worked, and sometimes I wouldn't say argue at all. We debated.
Yeah. Yep.
And to this day, I couldn't disagree with him more politically. But I love him to death, and I respect his political views.
And
because I see the logic and the knowledge that goes into the way he thinks, as opposed to nowadays, especially we have idiots that get on social media and take part truth and write their own narrative to it. So, yeah, and in fact, one of my current best friends is kind of the same thing, but
you understand the lens.
So how did you do that with the podcast? How was that conversation? You sound like you're talking about more about a topic, but were those guys in the podcast every week?
Yes,
or
it was
it a weekly podcast?
It was first of all supposed to be called Best of Frenemies. That was going to be the name.
Good.
We never got it off the ground. I think.
Okay, I got you. You're right.
We hit some logistical.
That's great, though.
What happened?
The name alone should have launched.
I know. Well, I think what happened is they both got into it and realized how much work it was actually going to be to do this on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis, and they were like, "Yeah, I don't know. That's too much work."
I've been in many bands like that.
Yep.
And now I'm in that seat where, when I was younger, I was the one that my whole life was around music and working, get home from school and work, just because it's what I loved and craved and all that. Since then, I've been in several.
Did you guys tell the listeners who's talking?
No.
Was there any intro given?
Nope. You intro
supposed to be a professional.
I'm not.
Ladies and gentlemen,
anymore.
You're listening to Darren Houk with Roofing Solutions by Darren Houk and Lucas Peterson, my personal attorney.
Oh, God. Now you're going to have to put this at the beginning. Or you're going to have to sub your own intro to it, which is fine. That's fine.
Surely.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope you never get in legal problems or have a roof leak.
Right?
You only have 2 balls left before I've got to change out the battery. Don't lose the whole file.
Only 2 balls. Lance does okay
only
with
2
1.
balls. Oh my God.
This is getting long and weak already, but it's hard having an intelligent conversation with headphones on, emphasizing every word. And
I know.
In my case, every and pause.
Oh, you're doing fine. I've listened to you on here. You've done fine with Andrew. Done great.
You're a good man.
So, do you want to talk about? I'm very curious. You are going to run for mayor, or you are running?
I am running for mayor,
and we can put this out, or Andrew can put this out, not we.
Depends on what you end up making me say.
Oh, I'm not going to ask you anything that's so.
So, a little small town. I'm from River Oaks, Texas.
Okay.
And I've served on city council there. There's many people out there, including a couple of friends I've already mentioned, that would never in their wildest dreams, including me, think that I would ever have anything to do with politics. And it's local politics, so I don't really think of it as politics. It's at that level, you're not really talking about liberal, conservative type issues. It's more about the love and passion for the city and even the people. And I guess this is the true with everything, but I kind of feel like the higher you go up, the foggier some of that gets. But, if I had an enemy, even the enemies, I don't have any enemies, I really don't. But the guys I don't agree with the most are also passionate about our small little city. We just don't agree on how to get there or certain topics and that kind of thing.
Sure.
So yeah, I served 3.5 years on city council and said I wasn't going to do any more and stepped down. And I think we did some great things. I think I helped make some good decisions and good things, and got away from it. And a group of good people came and convinced me that I was the next person. So actually, the current mayor has moved on. He had some people come to him asking him to run for a higher office on the Tarrant Regional Water Board.
Okay.
Joe Ashton, I guess it's good to say that. Joe Ashton's our current mayor, great guy. He's done a wonderful job. He's one of those guys that started out as a very young politician. I think he was, I'm going to say this wrong, but he was one of those guys that ran at 18 years old or something like that. I don't think he got elected the first time, but he was elected, maybe by the time he was 20, 21 years old, he was serving as a councilman. But he has a passion for it, so he's gone into, knows a lot about city government, and he also is a city manager for Pantego.
Okay.
Out there near Arlington,
yep.
Right border, suburb of Arlington, so to speak. So he had a group come to him and ask him to run for the water board, Tarrant Regional Water Board, which they've had a lot of controversy over the Trinity River vision and some of the things that have happened there. So I really don't even know what part he plays in there, other than there's a lot of people moving out, and so he's running for that position. And we had some people come to me and ask if I would run for mayor, and so I agreed to do it, thinking I could. I think I'm the right guy for the job at this point in time.
Good.
I'm not going to be the career guy that's there forever.
Yeah.
I plan on serving one term and seeing if I can't help, and then I'm getting close to retirement age, so time to start doing that. Whether I retire or not, I'm traveling. We do a lot of that now. So
how long is a term? 2 or 4?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do it 3. A lot of them do 2 years. Like the city of Fort Worth does 2 years. We switched way before I was involved with this. They switched over to 3-year terms so that you have 2 people. You'll have 2 council members running 1 year. The next year will be 2 more. The next year will be a councilman. Like this year will be a mayor and a council member. So you have some continuity. You don't have, if you do have the uprising where everybody gets replaced, they're not all replaced in 1 year, and nobody knows what to do. So,
exactly. Okay.
So that's the way they decided to do that, and that's where we are. So.
Well, you're not I don't want to use the term fighting, but you don't have an opposition of an incumbent. So that's a giant benefit.
That's true. Yes, I've got a guy that's running against me that's ran for council a couple of times, and he's kind of like what I was talking about. He's a good guy that I appreciate the fact that he cares about our city. We don't agree on most topics or how you get information from a topic. He seems to get a lot from social media, and unfortunately, if you don't sit in the meetings and listen to what's really going on, it's hard to get the real facts or the background to what's going on, and people don't realize that just because you want something doesn't mean legally you can do it. There's just a lot of rules in play that allow you to do things and not do other things. So
sure. And when is
May 6th is election.
Oh gosh.
Day. Yes. Oh yeah, we're there.
You're a month and a day. No, a month less. A day less than a month away.
So yes, I'm at
Holy
the
cow.
point now where I went into local pharmacy, not local, a couple of towns over, small pharmacy not too far away, to fill a prescription this week, and all of a sudden, I saw your signs, man. You're like famous.
That's cool.
No, I'm not famous, but I'm out there.
What was that like?
It's strange. I mean, the first time I ran for council, I had people that insisted that I should put my photo on these signs, and so we have a lot of yard signs, regular, I don't know what they are, 2 foot by 3 foot. No, they're not even that big. 18-inch by 2 foot yard signs or whatever. But then we have a few that are more like 4 foot by 4 foot banners and that type of thing.
Okay.
And they insisted I put my face on it. Others before me have. But their point was you do a lot in the community and people know your face maybe more than your name. So, but that's awkward now. I've made some more signs since then that don't have that. But this is a low budget campaign we're doing this time. So I took a bunch of the old signs that most of them were destroyed, but we took a bunch of them out and had signs put over the word city council with the mayor.
Yeah.
But
good use of resources.
That's right. So a little side note, I'm at the local barber shop, Blurberry, which is one of our new ones on River Oaks Boulevard. I go get my hair done and haircut, and they asked me for a sign to put in their yard, and I went out in the car. I just got my hair cut really short and all that, and I take it up there and I take the picture of the sign. I'm taking the sign in and I'm showing the guy that just cut my hair, well, what do you think? And I hold a sign with a life-size, basically, picture of my head, holding it up beside me. I said, what do you think? He says, man, you're really photogenic. You look a lot younger in that sign.
Oh.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Harsh.
Yes, it's 3.5 years old, but I never dreamt that it looked younger. Oh my gosh, I didn't need that.
Well, at least he recognized you. He wasn't like, hey, who's that?
He said, but nice haircut. And I said, yeah, the photo, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, dude.
Anyway, yeah.
That's funny. That's cool. It's funny because when Andrew and I were talking earlier, and he keeps poking fun at me, like he calls me a lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer. I just work at a law office. I'm like the support person, which I am totally comfortable with. I really like being the support person.
I'm ready for you to be my attorney. I mean,
oh God,
you want me to fix your leaky roof, don't you?
Right. Now you can do that. I can't be your attorney.
Oh, okay.
I would be breaking the law.
Oh, okay.
There's a law against that, right?
Well, there's no laws against being a roofer, because I can promise you, there's a whole lot of people that know nothing about roofs that are in the roofing business.
Well, that's not good.
I own a hammer.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, I'm sorry. So, you work for a law firm.
Yep. And he was giving me He was giving me crap about, being his lawyer and whatnot, and I was just like, I kind of forgot where I was going. Dang it. It's not your fault. It's my old man brain.
No, it's me, because I go down rabbit holes all the time.
No, and I do with him too. It'll come back to me. Don't worry. But it was just.
Let's switch this around to where I'm interviewing you again.
All right.
So what are you doing in a law firm?
I work as kind of my official title is legal secretary, but I've also been a paralegal for the 4 years plus prior to this.
Right.
This new firm, they started me as a quote-unquote secretary because I don't know this area of law. I moved from
Yeah, well, all nowadays is pretty specialized in different.
very
So what is this new firm? What do they specialize in?
insurance defense, which is
Oh, my
very
word.
different. It's civil litigation, so a lot of it is the same. But I came from a background of credit collection defense, which is incredibly dry.
Yes.
You know, it's a lot of just black and white federal law mainly, into an area that's all state. We're all state law, and everything of our cases is based in Texas.
So are you normally representing well, homeowners, if you will, versus the insurance company, or are you
The other way
representing
around.
The insurance company.
Yes.
So you're representing the insurance company.
Yeah, and in fact, it's funny you
Anybody
say
tell that
homeowner.
Insurance is the bad guys around here. Did you know that?
No, no way.
Well, they're just the big guys. So,
Yes, that's it.
That's
I
the
mean,
case. You know,
yeah.
you're kind of one against you right there, especially if you got a jury. You know,
Yeah.
everybody can relate to whoever is the sitting in the seat, but
Yeah, you can't relate to a big
in
corporate
my world,
entity.
I see lots of insurance fraud committed
I
by
bet.
others against insurance companies.
You know, it's funny you say that because we had a case right when I started. A week after I started, they won a trial where a lady basically tried to pull that off. She got sideswiped by a commercial vehicle, and she saw money signs, sued them, and had surgeries just to rack up medical.
No.
Yes, and I won't say her name because
So there's a lot of evil going on there. You got doctors doing surgeries on somebody that
yeah.
is claiming they have injuries. Oh my word!
They did like 2 or 3 surgeries that were, from the insurance company's perspective, were not necessary. And then we had this lady. There was, investigative people that were following her, and she went on a cruise 2 or 3 weeks after the accident. Like, she appeared to be fine, you know. And I know that some people are hurt, and it lingers, and it manifests later on. But we had people who flat out said she was. What is he doing? What are you
How's it going
interrupting
over here?
again? It's going good. We're talking.
You guys are doing great. I appreciate all the content.
I started wondering if anybody's hearing the great music in the background because
they are.
Well, they are now. I've got this mic on. They can hear it.
Oh well, I was hearing it through this, but it's because we're at a fun event here.
So
with
what are we gonna?
Andrew Turner.
What are we gonna title this episode? Because y'all have like a full episode now. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, seriously?
It's
Yeah.
what I
don't know.
Probably consider the garbage can.
Hey, you still?
Darren and Lucas take over.
What did he call it? I don't have headsets
He
on.
said the garbage can.
The garbage can? Okay, it's done. It is going to be called the garbage can with Lucas and Darren Houk.
There we go.
You don't get a last name, sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I'm just Lucas.
Well, why we hadn't used mine up until now?
You want your name in there?
No.
You're running for office.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Well, we'll release it after that certain date.
Hey, we already got the date.
Okay.
May 6th.
Good. Okay.
Go vote.
Yes.
Oh, wait, it doesn't matter
No,
anymore.
it doesn't matter.
Oh.
Your vote doesn't matter.
Well, shit.
We just need to remember a couple of things here. Can you hear me? You don't.
I
have
can
a
hear you.
headset on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a headset on, but
So number one, the last interview I did with you, there was a little thing that came on first that kind of warned you that if you record here, you're giving permission to go on the air.
Yeah. I think I need to shorten that up. Do you want to hear it?
And no edit. No, my point is, we didn't hear it. There's definitely going to be some editing here.
Oh, yeah, I got
don't
what
know.
you're saying. Okay.
I don't know. The listeners have never heard it though.
Oh,
Show
yeah.
it to you. Then I think you guys probably need to get
I don't
out
know
of
what
here
you're
'cause
talking about.
You're running out of balls.
No, I'm gaining them, so I need to
I
go.
know.
Hey, is it?
Oh,
is
getting
it?
balls.
Is it
Liquid
this one?
courage.
Is that the one?
All right.
Is
We're
that it?
about to get started. Thank you for being on the
Yes.
Fort Worth Roots podcast. Few admin notes before we
Let
do
them hear
get
this
started.
cringy thing.
Make sure that headset's comfortable around your
Is
ears.
this what you play?
Make sure that microphone is
I
as
need to
close to
shorten
your
it.
mouth as you
Why?
can possibly stand it without it getting in your way. If you need to take a drink
You're
of your
funny.
beverage,
The
if you need to
audience
clear your
doesn't hear
throat,
this.
make any kind of
No.
funny noises, go right ahead.
Do you play this
We'll be
every
able to
time?
edit that out later.
I have been.
By continuing with the recording process, we do want to make sure you understand
You're getting-
every bit of the content that we
Okay.
collect today via
That's smart.
recording is going
Yeah,
to
it
be
sounds to
given
me
out
like this
to
interview's
your
over.
audience. Right? We'll be distributing this.
It's like,
all
nope,
around
I'm
the
out.
world. So be mindful of the things you say. If Andrew asks a question that you're not comfortable answering,
You're still talking,
tell him
by the
that,
way.
You know, let's go around
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Let's not answer that question. Let's stay away from that subject, because once it's on recording, it will get aired.
Anyway. There's that whole thing.
Yeah, I kind of had a similar thing when I would talk to people, give them a
I
little...
need to shorten it up. It is super cringy, but I was so upset. I had an incident where somebody had called in and said, "Hey, I don't want you to release that episode," and I was already editing it. And so I was like, "Okay, never again."
Yeah. Did you, and you
yeah,
didn't
so
release it?
No, I'll
for
never
you.
release
They
it.
said
Yeah.
a lot of things on their own and then regretted it later and blamed him.
And I had even
think it happened
I'd
more
even
than
told
once.
the person, like, "Hey, are you sure you want to do this?" Anyway, he blamed me for like coercing him into saying these things. I'm like, "No, that's not how that went."
Ain't going.
Anyway, so now if I get any inkling of an idea that this person, like if it's me and Darren sitting down, or you,
Yeah.
I know I'm not gonna have that. But anyway, and actually, the guy that I'm talking about, or person, we'll leave it very vague.
Yeah. That gal.
I really thought there wasn't going to be an issue, but so I told myself I was going to play that but I just need to make it short and sweet, like because that one's long as shit. It's like a minute and a half long.
Yeah, and I don't
So-
know that you want to go full on technical, have them sign a waiver. You'll scare people away.
See, your
no.
attorney there.
Oh,
I told you.
He's
My
he is
legal man.
somewhat right there. Yeah, there's so much of it that all of a sudden you start thinking, what?
yeah, wait, exactly. Unless you provide them the
losers
waiver.
like me will stay on, but
No, everybody that I've played that for, I've asked them, like, did that seem weird? And they're like, no, I get it. Like, everybody's been very cool with it. So, but it does need to be shortened up.
But you get it on recording?
I get it on recording so that the master file has that, like, acceptance.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, there's implied
that was
consent.
not on here before this interview started.
He's like,
Well, you are still talking, sir.
that's true. There's an implied consent, though. I went through the same thought process of like, do I need to have people sign a waiver? When you put something on and somebody hits record, there's an
I looked into
understanding.
it. It's legal. Like,
Yeah,
as long
exactly.
as, check this out. Here's the weird thing.
Yeah.
As long as one person
Right.
knows that there's a recording.
Correct.
Right.
So the person that is
Texas.
doing the recording
Yes.
can be that one person.
Which means, here's a good example. Recording a conversation of a car dealer and a customer negotiating
That's
over
a
a car.
good idea. Next time I buy a car, I'm going to do that.
Well, you can.
Well, I'm
you
saying years ago it was done on a regular basis where the manager in the office is hearing every word that's going on.
can. Now that's illegal.
Right.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
But as long as, but that's where some of that came in. So you can't record somebody else, two other people talking. But
Correct.
If one of you can record yourself talking to somebody else.
Okay.
Well, here's
as I understand it, I will refer to my legal advice to the left now.
my ex-wife, and you're not airing this.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and close it out, okay? And then we're gonna continue this. But you gotta say goodbye to the people. Come on.
Oh yeah,
now.
we should say
Well,
goodbye.
this is not
what are we
it.
gonna
I
say?
will do an interview with this guy any day. We could actually do something quite record worthy, but I don't think it's
Time to say your goodbyes.
All right. Well, it's been
Cheers.
fun, Darren, and I wish you luck.
I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.
I mean,
We'll have a party.
okay. I'm coming.
Say goodbye to the Fort Worth Roots people
Bye,
too.
Fort Worth Roots podcast listeners, which will be me too. Adios, muchachos. Is that it? You can't hear the sound.
Wait, oh, you can?
You can't.
Oh, I can.
It's not playing anything.
Not hearing the
No, you hit the wrong button. There we go.
How's that? All right.
There
Bye.
we go. Now we got the right music. Okay. Now we can properly.
I feel like I'm in a helicopter. Fuck
Oh
yes.
my God, that was me. No. Okay, I'm done.
Today,
So y'all are going to be all over the internet, in every country and all over the world.
Every country?
Every country. Even Thailand and North Korea.
Just talking about going there.
What about East Korea?
All right, so I'm going to bring up the vibe real quick. I'm going to show you how we really start the show off. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots.
This is Fort Worth. And tonight, we're in Fort Worth.
We are tonight in Fort Worth. We're always in Fort Worth because the name of the show is Fort Worth Roots. Martin, my man, what's up?
Tonight, we're in Fort Worth.
We also are joined by two strangers on the other side. We're here at the Psychedelic Panther in Fort Worth, Texas for our second annual event.
Psychedelic festival going.
Who are these folks over here? And you're going to have to let us on the inside joke. Let us in on the inside joke.
My name is Harrison.
No. Get a lot closer.
I gotta get a lot closer.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. My name is Harrison. There we go.
Harrison.
My name is Caitlin.
Caitlin.
No,
all
that's
right.
not right.
Oh, no, they're right. You had your chance, Martin. Let them finish.
We're good.
No, that is right.
You're right. You're right.
We met Martin,
Keep going.
We're good. A couple hours ago, he's the greatest man we've ever met. He's traveling the world, doing everything he wants to do, living the life. And we had a joke with him. We were sitting right over there, those listening, I guess, to the left. And I was like, man, what's that? He's like, oh, have you not heard that podcast yet? And I was like, no. And he's like, dude, you got to listen to it. I was like, I kind of want to be on it. And here I am now. And he was like, well, there you go. You can just go ask. And I was like, you can't just ask. He was like, no, you got to trick them. You got to ask them to invite you on their podcast. And here he is right here, the man.
So at the point where y'all were having that conversation, trying to trick your way into being on the show, we had already decided that we were going to find Martin and get him on the show.
100%.
Yes.
Have you found him yet?
I don't know. I think he might have left the building. But we're going to find out here in a minute. Caitlin and friend, where are you guys from?
We're from McKinney, Texas.
Okay, what the fuck are y'all doing here?
Everyone here
I
is from
googled live
Texas.
music near me, and this came up, and the name was really, really cool. And I was like, Harrison, what are you doing on Saturday night?
Going! Is this y'all's first date?
100%. Yeah.
Fucking sweet.
Oh, yes.
That's so cool. Right here. Oh, man. Have y'all named your children yet?
Absolutely. Our first daughter will be named Lennon, and that is not up for discussion.
I don't agree with that whatsoever.
That is so perfect.
No agreement there.
Listen, from a guy that's been through the whole thing with the dating and the stuff, that response right there that she just gave, that's a keeper. That's a goddamn keeper. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, man.
All right, so before I kick you guys off the podcast, what did you want to say on a podcast so bad that you were willing to conspire against us, acts against the government, to be on the show?
I don't know, man. I grew up with the motto of, like, life sucks, just deal with it.
Okay, all right.
My dad was a crazy
It's not
person.
very positive,
No, it's
but
not
okay,
positive.
okay.
I just want people to know that, like, life does suck sometimes, but guess what? It's all about how you take it, and you just gotta love the people around you. And Martin has taught me a lot about that tonight, so he's gonna be a great
Nice.
guest for you
We've
guys.
known
Nice.
each other for
Is
like 3
Martin
minutes.
invited to the wedding?
Martin, yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah,
Martin is invited to everything.
totally
We're gonna go play
invite me.
disc golf in McKinney, like, later this week, hopefully. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna DM him on
That's
Instagram.
awesome.
Yeah, no. 100%.
Get in here. What'd you say?
No, I said he'll be our flower girl. Give him a fanny pack
man.
with some rose petals
That's
in it.
me.
Just throw them down the aisle. I like it.
Nice. Well, you two are awesome. Thank you for conspiring against us.
100%.
Thank you for
Thank you.
participating.
You guys are
in the
absolutely
evening.
wonderful.
We love
so-
you. And please, hey, check us out. Fort Worth Roots.
100%.
All right. Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you
It's a
guys.
pleasure meeting you, man.
Oh, where we go? And I guess Martin will be chasing you down later.
Have a great night.
All right. How about that shining introduction, Martin? You're going to have to move that mic just a little bit closer to your face. Just if you spill beer on it, you got to buy me a new one.
Turn it.
All right, so at this point, now, folks, I want to remind you, we're at the Psychedelic Panther, and I'm going to set the scene for Martin. Martin got in a van, how many months ago, Martin?
Yeah, well, how well did you listen?
Well, not well enough to know how many months ago this started.
I left on November 12th.
Okay, so November 12th. From Boston. Mr. Martin got in a van and he decided he was going to go. And he went. And he has seen some amazing things. We might get some of those stories today.
Tonight I'm in...
We might not get...
Fort Worth.
We might not get a whole lot of stories, but tonight Martin is in Fort Worth, Texas at Psychedelic Panther for year 2. What was your favorite band so far, Martin?
It was the first one. There was a yellow something.
Well, I think you're thinking of the album, but it was Houk the Destroyer.
Yes.
And King in Yellow is the album you're thinking of.
Yeah,
That's
I did
very
like
cool.
those guys.
Now we also have Jeff Zero on the mic tonight.
I bought my shirt from Jeff.
Yeah.
Can
we
you
got
see my
Local
shirt?
Obscene here. Hey man, we're recording, but the mic's on.
Oh snap! This one?
Yeah, get in tight. What's up? Local
Hey, I
Obscene.
met this guy last night.
Yeah.
We got deep.
We did.
We're trying to interview this mastermind behind this cross-country trip here. Mr. Martin, have you met Martin?
Did I last night?
No. Martin got here today. He's cruising around the U.S. in a van.
Nice to meet you.
I'm cruising around the U.S. in a van.
And he's here tonight.
I am here in...
And here he is.
Fort Worth.
Before me.
Fort Worth.
Right before you. Tell us
Fort
about
Worth.
Local Obscene. I want to hear about it.
At the Psychedelic Panther Festival.
Oh, man. Psychedelic Panther Festival. I fucking love Psychedelic Panther Festival. It just drops itself in my lap this afternoon. Like, boom. Like, I closed everything down, shut the computer, unplugged the cords. I'm like, I got to go there.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, me too.
Tell us about a Local Obscene, man. What are you guys about?
Yeah, so the Local Obscene has been around for coming up on 5 years. Basically interviewing bands, but there's a lot beneath the scenes.
What do you mean?
So there's like story arcs unfolding. I bring people on to do like scripted character voices and work like that. So I'm always down to collab with stuff and come up with some scripts. I don't know. I have like cinematic soundtracks and that kind of stuff.
I love the stuff that you guys, the content that you're posting online is very interesting. So I would love to continue to follow you guys and see maybe if there's a little avenue for some collaboration.
Yeah, what's the link? How do we follow?
What?
How do we follow you? How do we follow you?
How do you follow me?
He doesn't have a headset on.
Oh.
Follow.
I'm like,
how do we follow you?
How do you follow me? Yes, you go to Local Obscene on Instagram or on Spotify.
Local
all that
Obscene.
Stuff. Yes.
Nice.
That's it.
Awesome.
Fort Worth roots.
I'm glad we ran into you, brother.
Nice to meet you.
Very good. So as soon as Martin's done scrolling through porn,
Martin's here again. Jesus Christ!
Martin's over there scrolling through porn. Tell us the adventures, Martin.
Are you talking to me again? Shit.
Yeah.
You're the only one with the alias, Martin.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. That's what I got.
That's all right. So where did it all begin?
I was born. Sorry,
Dang,
man.
he's taking it to day one.
Right?
He was born.
My first diaper was
I'm in
Pamper.
Fort Worth, Texas.
Right?
Yes,
At
you
the
are.
Psychedelic Panther Festival.
I was born, and then I was at the Psychedelic Panther Fest.
Right?
Right? That's where we've ended up. That's where we are.
I'll tell
Martin
you,
was born.
I keep freaking out because I feel like I'm in a helicopter. Like you're talking to me, but it's weird.
I think I left my magic crystal over there on the arts table.
Go get it. I forgot one thing, Martin, and I need you to listen very closely.
All right, I'll try.
Oh shit, that did not do the thing.
I can't listen closely.
All right. We're about to get started. Thank you for being on the Fort Worth Roots podcast. A few admin notes before we do get started. Make sure that headset's comfortable around your ears. Make sure that microphone is as close to your mouth as you can possibly stand it without it getting in your way.
What?
If you need to take a drink of your beverage, if you need to clear your throat or make any kind of funny noises, go right ahead. we'll be able to edit that out later. By continuing with the recording process, we do want to make sure you understand every bit of the content that we collect today via recording is going to be given out to your audience as well as ours. We'll be distributing this all around the world.
You can't tell me this
So
stuff
be mindful of the things you say. If Andrew asks a question that you're not comfortable answering, tell him that, let's go around that. Let's not answer that question. Let's stay away from that subject.
I know the rules.
Because once it's on recording, it will get aired far and wide. Not to alarm you. You're in very capable hands. We've done over 120 episodes at this point, and we kind of know what we're doing. Thank you again for being on the Fort Worth Roots podcast. And now, if you would, please state your full name. This will give us consent, and it will make sure that we do not mess up your name.
Martin, you want to put your headset back on so we can talk to you? This is the weirdest episode I've ever done. All right, Martin, back in the game. All right, so by continuing, you understand we're doing a podcast.
Now I do.
Well, fortunately, before you didn't say anything, so now we need the full story.
Full story. So full story. It's a long story.
Well, fortunately, we got a lot of people that are loving what you're saying.
The crowd's gone nuts. They didn't respond until they heard that it was a long story.
I'm having a hard time with the headset.
You want to?
I'm not used to conversing.
You want
in such a manner.
You want to give up the headset and we'll put you in front of the mic?
No, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right.
I don't know, man.
All right.
I'm having a hard time.
We're good. Martin is a really good dude. This had a lot of potential, but it's going to come to a close now.
Sorry, man.
I think we probably should have caught Martin about 2 hours ago.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, Martin, I tell you what.
Yes.
Put this on just long enough to tell these people where you came from and how to find you. On just tell them where to find you. How about that?
Travels with Martin.
Travels with Martin. Perfect. Okay, and where? That's on TikTok.
Find me on whatever platform I'm hoping.
Okay.
If you look far enough, you'll find me.
There you go. All right. Travels with Martin. And I just know this because I followed him on TikTok earlier, but if you go to travel_with_Martin is where you can find him on TikTok. Very interesting man. Currently wearing a Jeff Zero tie-dye badass shirt. And we here at the Fort Worth Roots podcast wish this man the absolute best.
Yeah, Martin's been hanging out all day. Martin and I were hanging out. Has been all day.
All right, brother. Well, go run around. Be free. We're going to talk to Jeff Zero now for a little bit.
I'm going to sit right here.
Okay. All right. Just don't spill your beer on any of my shit.
I have not. No.
All right. Well, we tried, didn't we?
Yes. That's all good. I mean, it's all good.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Whatever. It all works. So, what do you think about the Psychedelic Panther? How did this go for you?
This went a lot better. It was just very unique, interesting experience because I had never been a vendor of any kind. You know.
Oh yeah, this is your first time at a vendor event.
Yeah, I've played in bands. I've done art shows, but never like I made this thing. Kind of. So I don't know what I was expecting, but I've never really been to a festival where I didn't get to see any of the bands. So it's just been a very unique. You kind of hear the bands wafting in and out while you're trying to talk to people, or so. But it's been very the quality of the music has been great. The quality.
Oh yeah.
The quality of the bands have been stellar. The last night at Pantamello, my booth was unattended their entire set. Like, there was
dude. Yeah, I got a couple of good videos.
Old boy was wearing a chicken suit.
Yes. Well, no, it was a bee suit.
Oh, that's right.
And
that's
the drummer,
right. He was a bee.
the drummer had the head of the bee, if you noticed, that went with his purple lame shirt. So I
remember you saying that. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at it, but yeah, it was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing.
And then you came up with an assumption as to what was she playing bass? She was the bassist, right?
Yeah.
And her outfit was supposed to be something, and you had told me how that fit into the whole bee thing. Do you remember?
No.
you had a whole complicated idea.
I'm sure I did. I'm sure I had probably been consulting with my homeopathic herbologist who had filled my head full of.
You might have been able to communicate with Martin right now if you were at where you were at.
Right. Yeah.
Man, that sucks because Martin had a really cool story, but he imbibed a little too much, I think.
Yeah.
But that gentleman has made his way across the country, and through just kind of luck, ended up here at the Psychedelic Panther, really vibing hard and enjoying the culture. And anyway, that could have been a really badass interview. But anyway, maybe next time, right?
Maybe next time. And at least people got a little whiff of Martin.
Yeah,
right? They at least got a little exposure to him because the dude was really a cool dude.
I know, and it's a shame because he had a lot more to offer than what we got out of him tonight.
Yeah, he was here early, and right after I got set up, before anybody got here, he was just sitting in my tent, and we were talking for about an hour. And
really?
Yeah. He started like in Boston, then he got a job that he can do 100% remote. I don't want to say what it is.
Right, 100%.
So now Martin lives in his van, literally. He said, I don't want to go to the office. I don't want to put on, big boy clothes. I want to go wherever I want to go. And a lot of times he goes to places where he's got a hotspot on his cell phone. That's how he has to connect to the internet. And he said it's just been more peaceful going where things take him. And he was driving somewhere, can't remember.
He said he came here from Dallas.
Yeah, on his way to some, I can't remember where he's heading now, but he was like, you know what, I'm in the mood to see a band. So he just typed live music near me, and Lola's happened to just be the first thing that came up based on location, based on where he happened to be.
Wow.
So he just swung in here.
Yeah.
And it was total
pure chance.
Pure chance.
So if you're ever thinking about opening a bar and playing live music, just know that there's a possibility you will just pull random people that are traveling the country.
Yes. And
he does seem like a pretty chill dude. I'm glad that he has already committed. He actually verified with the owner that where he's parked tonight is fine. He's not going to get towed. There's not going to be any kind of issue. So, as much fun as he's having, he's being responsible.
Yeah.
He's going to be safe. He's going to sleep it off here in his rolling condo. So that's cool.
I support Martin.
I support Martin. We all do. So, first event that you've ever brought the clothes out and tried to do the vendor thing, but what people don't know, unless they saw my video I posted earlier about your very unique collection of tie-dyed goods, every single article of clothing that you have up is 100% authentic and unique, one of a kind, and completely untraceable.
Which is the most important part. I feel.
I was proud of myself for just coming up with that on the spot.
Yeah. Completely untrue. No one will know. No one will ever know that you bought this from me.
Well, I was trying to make it sound, as cool as I could.
How cool is that? Like completely untrue. Like the government can't track you here. Like
it's so true.
Like you don't have to account for it.
Let's talk about Jeff Zero in his own private universe.
Yeah. It's Jeff Zero in his own private universe is one of my musical incarnations that is more pop, more song, structured song.
I wouldn't call your work pop at all.
Really?
Not at all.
Like in the fact that
you think your music is pop?
Totally. Like.
Well, I don't want to.
Like late.
I don't want to argue or take that away from you, but I feel like
late '70s British power pop, like Nick Lowe or Elvis Costello and the Attractions,
Okay.
or at least that's where it's coming from.
Okay. I have no right to tell you what genre your music fits into, but I would have put it into a singer-songwriter punk rock category. I don't know. Is that fair, or am I just being ridiculous?
I think I would describe my music very lyrical. Right, the lyrics are hugely important, as probably more important than.
And I understand that. That's why I said it started with singer-songwriter for sure.
So I would say singer-songwriter along the lines of Elvis Costello is a singer-songwriter. Paul McCartney is a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
Ben Hibbert is a singer-songwriter. Tom York is a singer-songwriter. Like I have a vision for stuff I want to do, and this particular incarnation is that short punk length, 2.5 minute.
Okay. Yeah. So
the energy, but from that early post-punk British invasion, after Sex Pistols, where you're starting to get some of that Farfisa organ, that 60s feel into that 80s, that 70s late thing. That's
so I almost feel like you kind of validated what I said, but to be clear, I was definitely trying to say you're much more than pop, and to me, singer-songwriter is far above that.
Okay.
And so to say that your singer-songwriter people are as such as you described, I mean that's where I place you, far above pop. I don't know. To me, pop is Britney Spears and 98 Degrees.
Well, no. To me, pop is the Beatles, and the pop is
really
the Dave Clark 5.
Okay. So there might be. Well, first of all, I'm ignorant whenever it comes to music. I'm just, I'm not a musician.
Yeah.
But also, maybe a little bit of an age gap there.
Yeah.
Because
for me, pop music was short for popular music. So it was a rock tinged, high energetic, not country, not rockabilly, but a pop kind of a thing, structured harmonies, stuff like that. So that made it popular. And now pop is come to mean like pop culture. So it would not have been, to call something a pop song in the 60s or 70s would not be the insult it would be to say it's a Backstreet Boys song.
And that's what I meant. Yeah, there must be like a little bit of a time gap there, because nowadays I feel like pop is kind of an insult, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Wouldn't you think? All right, we got past that.
So anyways, so it's the high energy, up tempo, positive. That's why I say it's not punk. It's short. Like in this incarnation, what am I trying to say? What's the least amount of time and space and words that I can say exactly what I need to say?
Yeah.
And so on this record, I've got like in live we can do a 14 song set and play 35 minutes. Yeah. Like if we just plow through it, because they're short,
I've seen you do it, Ridgely Theater, Ridgely Room, which I'm not in it. I don't know how much you listen to the show, but I'm not a fan.
After that show, we're not gonna. I don't foresee us playing at the Ridgely Room.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I swear to God, like I would go back and I would watch you play because I want to support you. And I love your music, but Ridgely Room is just not the right vibe for me, man.
Yeah, I'd rather you not listen to my music at all than listen to it mixed with somebody's mindset that everybody that comes through here is a death metal band, and I've got to blast everything on 10.
And it's not even that, man. It felt like I've been there 2 or 3 times now, and every time it's just like that venue. I think that the people there are maybe in between jobs or something. Nobody gives a fuck about anything there.
No.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. Now, I did go see Pooh Life Crew at Ridgely Theater, the Big Room.
Big Room is cool.
And it was great. And I didn't catch a great vibe from the staff, but it really did not matter because it was the full band, lots of asses and a lot of seats, and it was just a great fucking time. Good luck getting a drink, but
right.
Anyway. Yeah. No, I'm actually really glad to hear you say that because I don't want to ever go back to Ridgely Room ever.
No, the Ridgely Room is the direct reason I bought a Head Rush.
What's a Head Rush?
A Head Rush is if you're in a cover band and you want to play, 40 different guitar tones, it's basically a board that you can pre-program.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But what you can also do is program literally what's on your pedal board through your amplifiers or somebody else's amplifiers. So I can say, okay, I want to go through a Vox AC 15, or now I want to go through a Marshall 8 stack, and now I want to go through a Fender Blues combo. And you can build whatever tone that you want. So a lot of touring bands, instead of hauling that equipment, have this stuff because it has a jack that goes right to the PA. So the sound of the not giving a fuck at Ridgely, they didn't give us a good sound check. They wouldn't let me, somebody else had knocked my amp over, so my knobs got fucked.
Damn, dude.
They wouldn't let me they wouldn't let me adjust my amp. He's like, go. And so I'm like, fuck, clock's running, because they turned the band that was in front of us.
Saw that?
They just turned the fucking PA off.
I know. I've talked about this on the show. So, and this is really the death knell for that venue.
Those were my buddies in Sonic Wonder, and those guys they're great dudes, and they have a great sound.
Yeah.
And they play by the rules. Now they've got a synth player and a drummer. And they were getting the synth racks up on top, but the sound guy was counting the load-in time against their set.
Why is it like that? I can only assume that everybody there is just waiting to go to their next job. I don't know.
Well, what the dirty secret is that's not even run by the club.
Right, it's out-of-state people, right?
Yeah. They basically say, hey, Ridgely Room, we'll give you X amount of dollars that you may or may not get if you book a band in here yourself in alcohol sales. We'll give you, we'll rent the venue and you keep the bar.
Right.
And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And they take the risk, but the bands end up buying the tickets, right, to give to their friends. So the bands are paying for it. And so the people that they hire, they're contracting for one night, So why do they care?
I'm trying to get waffles and Waffles Extra.
What's up, yo?
Hola.
There's a microphone.
This
It's
is
on.
my last gap.
It's on. State your name, sir.
What's up? This
No,
is
you gotta
James
get
Maker.
closer.
James Maker here.
James
How's
Maker,
it going?
what do you do?
I do everything under the sun. For this particular event, I'm doing projection art.
What is projection art, sir?
So I make a big white sculpture.
Get close to that microphone.
I make a big white sculpture, and then I
Waffles is like,
flood
yeah,
it with
dude, get
beautiful
closer.
art.
Is that your panther?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I made a
cool.
big white panther for this event, and
well, you made a big white panther for the last event.
I did, yeah. And
You've been on the Fort Worth Roots podcast before for Psychedelic Panther 1.0.
Yes, sir. And this is 2.0, still up and kicking.
Gotta congratulate you. That thing is still badass.
Thank you, man.
The projections are still amazing.
Yep.
Did you end up running both stages tonight?
No. Abraham, what's it? Attic? Attic Space. Attic Space is Abraham, and he's doing the outside one.
Right on. Right on.
Yep.
Anything you want to tell the Fort Worth Roots listeners that are tuning into the Psychedelic Panther 2.0 episode?
Check me out on Instagram, yo, I guess.
What's your Instagram handle?
James B. Maker.
James B. Maker.
James B. Maker.
Okay.
And go play with my web app.
at w4a.care any old time. Make some art for me.
Perfect. Mrs. Waffles, did you get some badass photos today?
Nope, no. Just kidding. Well, I was here most of the day yesterday,
right.
And then I got in a little bit later today after another gig.
You're showing Dallas a little bit of love, weren't you?
Yeah, got a little Dallas and Fort Worth today.
Nice.
But yeah, I was shooting video for Joe's project, Space Poets.
Right.
So got some cool stuff for that.
Excellent. That room was packed when Space Poets went up.
Yeah, I mean, support the guy that made it all happen. So, it's only right.
How can people find your beautiful photography?
Well, if you go to @WafflesWeekly on Instagram, you can find some great stuff there. And I also have work on KXT Radio, which is kxt.org.
Hold on one sec.
Real talk. All right, James, you're up. Okay. Actually, you're both up. Look, we got 2 headsets.
Yeah, come on, Waffles. Oh, hey, man. Hey.
He'll be back. It's all right. I keep calling you Mrs. Waffles, so I can't even, when I see you, that's what I think of.
Good, that's what you're supposed to think of, because the only reason anyone knows that whatever first name that's not even real is because of Facebook, and they make me do it.
All right, so I'm gonna ease up off that first name basis.
Yeah, because my first name is Waffles.
All right.
It's like Cher, just Waffles.
You've done some work with the Fort Worth Weekly, correct?
Actually, I've never been hired by Fort Worth Weekly. I've given them some stuff here and there.
I know I've seen your name on it.
Yeah, they did a piece about local photographers, and so I had a photo in the weekly for that and a little blurb about me, which was really cool. I mean, I thought it was nice to be included.
Well, I think what our listeners need to know is that you are a very, very active member of our community, and you are at, I don't know, 25 to 45% of all the music activities that happen in this city. It's hard to cover all of it, but you do a good job of making at least a very strong effort. You're covering something every weekend, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, between the work that I do for KXT Radio, which takes me all over the Metroplex, I'll cover things in Fort Worth, Dallas, Denton, Arlington, McKinney sometimes, just all over the place. They don't really put a barrier on where I can travel for North Texas music.
Yeah.
And I get to pitch them all kinds of things. And I love Fort Worth music, so I pitch Fort Worth a lot. And most of the time they're like, hell yeah.
Nice. I love that. So for Fort Worth roots, I do have some serious barriers. I'm kind of softening up on my northern barrier. Denton is starting to kind of become part of the process.
Okay.
I don't know that badass titanium barrier. I mean, it's like a 8-foot wall of titanium, and it goes 1,000 miles up between us and Dallas. I don't know that I'll ever let that wall down. Yeah. I don't know that it will ever be breached.
There's a rivalry there, and I don't understand it, but whatever.
I got no love for Dallas.
It's all for fun. That rivalry keeps us strong.
It's so funny because it's I had no idea of something like that existing when I moved here.
Do you know how far back that goes?
Really, really far. The whole Panther thing.
Well, right? Eamon Carter, man. One of our big Fort Worth old school celebrities. There was some kind of groundbreaking event where, and I want to say it was DFW Airport or something. It was a big one. And so people the mayor and stuff from Dallas came, and then Eamon Carter was there, and it was supposed to be because there was already a rivalry. And so the ceremony was supposed to be a burying the hatchet type thing.
Okay.
So they had hatchets, and they buried them.
Wow.
And somebody made mention of it. They went, Mr. Carter, your hatchet, the handle is still sticking out of the ground.
Ooh.
And he turned around and he said, I might need to come back and pull that thing out later.
Just to find it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the rivalry between Fort Worth and Dallas is visceral. And it has been going on for 100+ years.
I think the funniest thing I've ever heard somebody say about Fort Worth versus Dallas was the Fort Worth is where the West begins, and Dallas is where the East peters out.
So anyway, just don't ever forget, Fort Worth is home. Okay? Just saying. Where do y'all live?
Dallas.
Damn it.
And here we are.
East Dallas.
Oh, East Dallas.
I know, even
the
further.
far side.
Yeah.
You remember that meme? You got Simba and his dad standing at the top of the whatever pile of shit, whatever they're standing on.
Okay.
Dad, what's that dark place over there? You must never go there, Simba. That is Dallas.
I've seen that meme, but it says Lancaster.
So do you guys ever think you'll move here to Fort Worth?
Probably not.
Really digging that Dallas vibe?
I mean,
I got family out there.
yeah, it's the combination of having some of his family out there, but also I feel like I get more gigs in the Dallas area just because mostly because of the number of things happening. It just kind of happens that way. But I still do like 30% of my gigs in Fort Worth.
That's really cool to hear you say that, and I've got nothing bad to say about that. You are absolutely the first artist I've ever heard say that. Ever.
Really?
Maybe that's a photography thing?
Probably, because, there's a lot of people with money in Dallas that spend it with me sometimes,
And you've done a great job of not just branding yourself, but I mean you're professional. You show up whenever you should show up, and you've got a name for yourself.
Thank you.
And your articles and your photography kind of speaks for itself. So it does not surprise me that you're having very limited issues finding work in Dallas.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, because I put a lot of time and effort into building my brand before I ever got paid for it. Like, I worked with hundreds of people before I ever really started charging anyone. And that's crazy to think about now that I was like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah, she inspires me to get on it every day.
Good.
Man,
you need some of that inspiration.
I do. Everybody does.
I see you over there with a flower in your ear. You look like a slacker.
I am one at heart. Getting out of it.
No, man, you've done some incredible shit. I was absolutely floored. Year one Psychedelic Panther with their projector screen. It was insane. You remember me asking you questions about like, where is the projector? Because it doesn't it doesn't make sense.
What is happening there?
Yeah, but I mean, so on the technical side, you're a wizard, and then you've also got the professional tenacity to make it all work.
Yes, sir. Yeah, keeping all that shit in line is not easy sometimes.
Chasing down payments.
Oh, yeah, that's always a part of it.
Anybody that's ever been in business.
Psychedelic Panther takes care of their artists.
Yes.
Honestly, they're doing it. Yeah.
Well, that's very important to Joe, because I mean,
it is.
Before he started this festival, 10 years? He's been into the arts for at least a decade.
Yeah, so he's been there. He knows what that feels like.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I will say that this festival is very refreshing in a way that I've met people here that are kind of first timers in something like this at all, like just as attendees, and they're like, man, I've never been to anything like this in Fort Worth. And I was like, yeah, that's because it doesn't really exist until now. There might be something similar-ish here and there, but not quite as thought out or put together this way. And I really appreciate that about Joe and how intentional he is with everything he's done here.
Man, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's so right on the point. Yeah, there's a market for it. There's people here that want to engage in this, and there's just no one really rallying the crowd until Joe showed up and got it started.
No, these artists, they're awake, if you know what I mean. I mean, these artists, wow, they are all so eccentric. Every one of them. It's
been excellent. I mean, from the vendors, and not. I don't think half these guys are from Fort Worth, but they came here with the hope of connecting with the psychedelic community. And every one of the bands that have gone on stage have absolutely wrecked it. It's been great.
I'm so happy to get to play my part in that, Get to make the visuals that...
Yeah, it would not be the same without your contribution, for sure.
I like to hear 100%. That. Thank you, man.
Well, it's true. And if people have told you that, right? I'm not the first. I cannot be the first one to have said that to you.
Ish.
No.
But I appreciate it, man.
You make this festival. Like, I don't take anything away from Joe, but the visual effects that you provide for this event are priceless.
Iconic.
Absolutely iconic.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's yes. Waffles nailed it.
Last year I got to do more of the bands. I hope next year we get to have more inside, so I can get to be the 5th member of the band or whatever you want to call it. You know, the visual instrument. That
I think this is the right venue for year 3. I think we should do the next one right here.
Yeah, it's nice here, man. I really like it. And meeting Brian, the owner, you know, he's all
good
about
dude.
it. Yeah, he's
Very
a good
good
guy.
Yeah, Brian's awesome. It was so funny at the end of one of the songs for Space Poets. It was just like it kind of went, you know, it ended and had the ambiance, and he just stands there, he's like, that was pretty good, man. Like, loud enough for everyone to hear, and it was so hilarious. No, Brian.
Oh, Brian did?
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
He was on the side of the stage, and it was so funny. It was like from the man himself.
Approval.
I think that I've been around him enough, and I've introduced myself a couple of times. He knows who I am. So I've through this event, I've just left him alone. Like, if Brian wants to talk to me, he'll come talk to me. But I want him on the show.
I will go tell him that.
No. I want it to be Brian's idea. No. I'm going to be a total diva about
Some
this.
people need a push, though. I interviewed him when the old Lola's closed, like the Last Stand show.
Yeah.
I interviewed him at the end of the night. And so it was like, I got some real talk from Brian Ferrella, and that was like my first official time meeting him too. And he just like, he was so open and emotional. Of course, I mean, he had been there for such a long time, and it's like I got to see the true soul of the man in the first time of meeting him, and I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate the old Lolas, like the legacy that really carried, and we were all heartbroken to lose that location, but this right here is
awesome.
Like the ultimate upgrade. It's
really
so good.
I agree. Like, it has a modern vibe, and it's just a little more elevated and a little cleaner, which is great.
You know,
I do love it.
And as the wheels,
Mass was a little grungy.
No,
in an okay way.
Not Mass. Lola's, the old Lola's.
Oh, the old Lola's.
Yeah,
sorry.
So you're talking about the event, and Waffles and I are talking about the
old Lola's.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the wheels of time continue to turn, and if you don't adapt, you just disappear or get crushed. He's adapted very well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should get in his ear and
just poke him a little.
Oh, I'm on it.
Okay.
I told you I'm on it.
I have not talked to him a lot, but just with everybody that I have had on the show that has like a personal relationship with him, I know that he'd be a great guest to have on. So that might be really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't want to press him though.
You should get this lady over here too, man. 2 booths that way.
Tardigrade?
Yeah, she's making all these awesome tardigrades because, you know...
Is she a tardigrade?
Kinda.
I love tardigrades.
Right?
So NASA sent a bunch of tardigrades into space to see if they could survive, and I think that's what these are themed on.
I was about to say, that tardigrade does not need that helmet.
Right? No,
because
he'd be fine.
what they did is they took tardigrades and they exposed them to the absolute vacuum of space and the solar radiation for, I think...
And they just dehydrate.
How long was it? 45 minutes?
Oh, no, days.
Was it?
Yeah, days. They're fine.
So then they brought them back in.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a little bit of time. But after all that exposure to the vacuum of space and the radiation, they came back to life.
Yeah, you just add a little water and they seem to come right back.
They are the superheroes of our planet.
Yeah, we think that they came from space, actually. Like, we think they got here on an asteroid based on...
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
It really does. Those and octopus, yeah.
Yeah, there's more...
Octopi.
There's more mass on Earth in tardigrade than there is mass on Earth in human.
No.
Yeah, there's more
how the
of
fuck
them.
How would anybody know that?
I guess they
Science.
How could you? No, don't you science me. Okay.
they figured out how many there were in 1 square foot, multiplied it by how many square feet are on the earth.
Oh yeah,
you know, probably.
I don't know.
I do want to catch the rest of the secret
Yes,
set.
yes. Thank y'all so much.
Does anyone
Yes,
have a
sir.
phone for us to take a selfie?
We're gonna do that. Tell everybody where they can find you, Waffles.
Waffles Weekly is on Instagram mostly, at Waffles Weekly.
Okay.
And then other parts of my work you can find on kxt.org.
Perfect, James.
James Benjamin Maker on Instagram. James Benjamin Maker on Facebook. Hit me up.
It can't be that simple.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I make things.
All right, guys. Thank you so
You have a
much.
phone?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I've
we'll do
actually I've got a really badass phone.
Okay.
We're gonna do
Yeah,
it
let's do
phone.
it.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, with that.
Little bit of an abrupt ending, but that's how that evening went. Lots of recordings. This was the last segment of the Psychedelic Panther coverage. Thank you to our friends. Of course, right up front, we had Lucas Peterson and Darren Houk. Darren, by the way, just secured the position as mayor of River Oaks. We're very excited for our friend. Congratulations, Mayor Houk, on your accomplishments. How wild. We got a friend that's a mayor. Pretty cool. Shout out to Jeff Zero. We actually did a recording with Jeff the other day in the studio. It's a much better representation of our friend Jeff, and it's really cool because we played his music almost the entire episode. So look for that coming up soon. Waffles Weekly. Thank you so much for being on the show, James Benjamin Maker. Again, that Waffles Weekly and then James Benjamin Maker. That's their names. That's also exactly how you find them on Instagram. James is going places. He's a younger dude, but he's got his own business, and this projector head that I keep talking about to nauseum is very incredible. And he designed it and put it together and brought it to year 1 and year 2. And he does this for other people, and we've had him on the show before, and he explains his entire process. But very interesting dude. And then Caitlin and Harrison, I hope you're still in love and doing wonderful things. And then Martin, wherever you are, Mr. Martin, hope you're doing good things. Hope your travels are going well. And maybe on your way back through town, we'll catch you before the fun begins, and we can get a little more of your story. Y'all can tell my voice is kind of going. It's been a crazy 3 weeks. And we're going to release an episode kind of recapping what we did on our trip down to the Big Bend with our podcast homies from Jerry Jonestown Massacre, Fort Worth Famous, and a couple other awesome homies that went with us on this trip. But we went down to Big Bend, did that for, I believe, 3 nights. 3 nights or 4 nights, something like that. Absolutely beautiful down there. The night sky is so beautiful. It's a dark sky region, meaning there's very, very little to none to no light pollution. And so you get the best view with the naked eye of the night sky and all the stars. And it's really cool. And whenever you get home and you look up at night and you can't see that, it's a little bit depressing, but very beautiful, excellent experience, and just a great group of people that we got to go out there with. Anyway, I won't go into any more details because there's an entire episode where we cover that. And if you'd like to get it early, you can go on over to the Jerry Jonestown Massacre podcast, and he broke it up into 2 segments. We recorded 4 different times. Part 1 and 2 is an episode, and then part 3 and 4 is an episode. And man, we had such a good time. Got to do it again. And on the way back, we hit Presidio. We hit 5 state parks. We hit Terlingua. We hit Terlingua. Then we hit Presidio. Then we came up, started going north, hit Marfa. And then from Marfa, we went to Fort Davis and then some other state parks. But it just an incredible journey. Saw so much cool stuff. Saw some of the most beautiful parts of Texas. And just a great experience. So that's what started off this 3-week hiatus. If you've been paying attention, I released a ton of episodes the week that we departed, and then I've just been busy doing other stuff. I got moved into a new living arrangement. We've been making huge modifications to the studio here. We had the first live rehearsal at the studio. We had Gosagi, which is a taiko Japanese drum band. I think I said that right. Really wild stuff, but I mean, they beat the paint off this studio with their drums. This studio is segmented into 3 different rooms, and they were in the main room and just going 100% on these drums, knocking pictures off the walls, and it was wild. They said that whenever they were in there practicing, they're like, there's dust coming off the ceiling. And I was asking them kind of, some feedback. Let me know what we can do to improve. And they mentioned, there's dust falling off the ceiling that could be improved. And I said, well, I think after 3 or 4 rehearsals, that problem kind of works itself out. So we'll see. I could clean the ceiling, right? I keep calling it the roof, the ceiling. Anyway, what else has been going on? Lots of crazy stuff. Our boy Matt Stubbs got married to a wonderful lady named Mandy, and we celebrated that at their little wedding party over in, I think we were in Arlington. I know, I don't usually go past the Fort Worth barrier, but I did for this. Special occasions, I will. And so we went and had a little get-together at a friend of theirs' house, and that was cool. Other updates. I don't know, it's just been balls to the wall for the last 3 weeks. As soon as we got back Sunday night from our trip, the big far west Texas trip, we got in at like 10 o'clock. And so right after that, it was prep for work and then hit the ground running. And work finally picked up. I don't know if you've heard me complain about it in different episodes, but work has just been slow and the money has not been there. So we've been kind of on the struggle bus for a while, but not now. Not the last couple weeks anyway. Just hitting it hard and heavy. So along with everything else that's been going on, work has finally picked up, and I am not complaining about that at all because we need some monies. But what am I talking about? I'm babbling to you because I haven't talked to you in a while. I think that's it. I might think of something else to tell you about over the last 3 weeks, but that's the bulk of it, man. Just been busy. And now I've got to get very serious about releasing a ton of episodes because what's coming up? You got our episode that we did with Tim from the Funky Panther. That's coming out here shortly. I just told you we did a episode with our friend Mr. Jeff Zero. It was a good episode. We played his music almost the entire time. It was really fun. And just kind of had it playing lightly in the back, and he's talking, and then sometimes he'd talk about the track that was playing. Anyway, fun way to do an episode. I love it when we do that. So, and by the way, if you're a musician or you know a musician, let them know they can come on the show and do the same thing. Just kind of do the show and have them hook their phone up to the Rodecaster via Bluetooth, and we can just kind of play music while we're rolling through the episode. It's fun. I like it. I think you like it too, don't you? Okay. Where was I at? Where was my head? It is currently 6:53 in the morning on a Monday, and I'm trying to get this out to you. So I'm hanging in there. Okay. Let's talk sponsors for a minute. Woodpost Metalworks. You can go to woodpostmetalworks.com. Use offer code podcast817. Ryan was nice enough, the owner, him and his wife, Mickey and Ryan. Ryan stopped by the studio yesterday while the taiko band was playing, and that was interesting. I think they were actually loading out or packing up their gear by the time he got here. But anyway, Woodpost Metalworks is going to do the signage on the front of the studio, and that is going to be awesome. So that'll be coming soon. The studio's really coming together, man. But anyway, point is, Woodpost Metalworks is going to be doing the signage, and what they're going to do is they're going to take steel, and they're going to take my logo, and they're going to cut it into the steel, and then they're going to take LED backlighting, put that on there, and so whenever you drive by the studio at night, you'll see this nice little plasma cut steel sign, and it'll be lit. That's going to be cool. We're also trying to talk a very prominent, well-known podcaster into occupying the back room for the studio, and their signage would be on the front. also, but can't get an answer back on that. So anyway, there might be some other signage up front as well that will also be done by Wood Post Metalworks. Anyway, they specialize in metal signs with or without LED backlighting, fence and gate repair, or installation, light steel fabrication, industrial plasma cutting, and more. You can go to woodpostmetalworks.com and remember to use offer code podcast817. Houk Walker Originals. You hear me talk about these folks all the time. If you need something customized for your home or office, maybe you've got something that you need to promote, these people can put together some customized swag for you. You got an idea, they can do it. Also a great place to look for gifts. You can go to houkwalker.com. Roofing Solutions by Darren Houk. RoofingSolutionsHouk.com. Their phone number is 817-882-6520. What is this here? What do I got? This is all this stuff. Facebook account was started in 2010 and has a 5.0 rating. This is about roofing solutions. I don't think I've ever read this off. I must have, but I don't remember doing it. Anyway, this is how you know they've been around for a minute. Their Facebook account was started back in 2010, and on their Facebook account, it's got a 5-star rating. Their Yelp rating is 5 stars. Angie's List 5 stars. On the Better Business Bureau, they have an A+ rating, which I believe is the highest you can get. In an online publication called Today's Homeowner, this was a new thing that I remember when I wrote this down. I just found this. It's called Today's Homeowner, and they were listed as one of the 12 best roofing companies in Fort Worth. Anyway, you hear me talk about these guys all the time. If you have any issues with your roof, if you don't know if you have issues with your roof, give them a call. You can get Roofing Solutions at 817-882-6520 and their website, roofingsolutionshouk.com. And, of course, all this stuff is in the show notes. And don't forget, just by being a listener of the Fort Worth Roofs podcast, they will give you 50% off on a roofing tune-up. It's good stuff. And I mentioned this earlier, but Darren is now the mayor of River Oaks. So, guy's wild. He's always doing something. Very proud of our friend. All right, what else? Moving on. Anyway, I'm not forgetting anybody, am I? Okay, Pouring Glory. Located over there off of Main Street. It's actually Bryan Avenue, but you've never heard of Bryan Avenue. It's a very quiet little street. And it's just east of Main Street. If you were standing at the old Main at Southside building, which is now Cicada, if you haven't gone to Cicada, you should check that out. If you're standing at Cicada and you're in their parking lot and you look east, I think I just said west. If you look east, you can see Pouring Glory from the corner of the Cicada parking lot, just about a block off of Main Street. So anyway, Pouring Glory is a growler refilling station. A growler is like this jug that you put beer in. Pretty cool deal. You can buy one of these decanters or jugs or growlers from Pouring Glory. Got their logo on it. Looks real cool. Be a nice addition to your kitchen or living room or even your bathroom. Very classy. Anyway, you keep it filled up with beer that you purchase over there at Pouring Glory and live a better life. Anyway, that's what they do there. But it's more than that. They serve craft beer off the wall, and they've got award-winning food with live music. There's always somebody out there. I ran into Joe Savage the other day. That's a gentleman that's been on the show many, many times. Just randomly ran into him. I did not know he was playing out there at Pouring Glory. Shame on me. Should have known that. Anyway, Joe was there. That's cool. Denver Williams, see him out there a lot. And a bunch of other really talented musicians. So, in fact, what was the thing? There was a thing. Oh, yeah, the 420 event. We had some absolute savages on stage for that event. Scott is really good. Scott's the owner out there. Scott is really good about putting on events and keeping the energy high out there. But it's not like 7th Street or one of these other places that you don't go anymore because it got out of hand. It's not like that. Pouring Glory has a really, really chill vibe. So does McFly's. But anyway, those are the kind of people we want to have sponsor the show. Go check it out. Their burgers are incredible. They won an award recently in the Fort Worth Weekly for having the best burger in town. And there's always something going on with that menu, the specialized menu, custom. like burger of the week and stuff like that. And there's more than just burgers. They got chicken wings, they got tacos, and so on and so forth. It's great. Go check it out. Pouring Glory. All right. Body Machine Fitness. These people have been kicking my ass. In fact, this morning, I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to walk. Their instructors out there don't pull any punches, man. They know what they're doing. They do keep the energy high. It's a wild environment, and you need to go check this out. I'm going to describe it to you, but it's not going to do it justice. Your first class has already been paid for, and you can go to bodymachinefitness.com, and there's a tab there that you can click on and schedule your first class so that you can check it out. Body Machine Fitness offers a truly one-of-a-kind fitness experience. Your first class has already been paid for. Just said all that. To schedule your first high-energy cardio strength group fitness class with best-in-industry trainers, cutting-edge audio and lighting system, show up early or stay after the class for the IR infrared sauna and nutritious snacks in the lobby. It's pretty awesome. And I don't know about you, where you're at in your fitness journey. It is a journey. Don't take that away from me. It's a journey. It's very cyclic too, right? Like you're in shape, you're out of shape, you're in shape, you're out of shape, you're on it, you're off of it. But one of the things I struggle with is when I go to the gym, okay, I made it, now what do I do? Now and I'm being a little bit facetious. I know what to do. But it is so much easier to just go to one of these group-led classes and put the trust into these very capable people's hands where they just work every muscle group out that you got through interesting and different dynamic workout techniques that you never would have thought of. You wouldn't have, I promise you. But what I like about it, because I do still have a gym membership, and I go to the gym, and I do my thing. But whenever I go to Body Machine Fitness twice a week, they trick my muscles into doing things that I don't do with my muscles. And if you know anything about muscle growth or that whole thing, doing stuff that's out of the ordinary for your muscle growth is kind of key. And so this is a really good thing to implement into any workout process so that you are getting that muscle confusion or whatever you call it. I'm not a fitness guy. I don't know these things. I just go to the gym. Anyway, they'll explain it to you. They're very sociable people, and they'd love to talk to you. It's located there off of 7th Street here in Fort Worth, in like that shopping center where there's like an apartment, there's a Buffalo Wild Wings, there's a Crumble Cookie. It's kind of in between Tom Thumb and Snooze, that badass breakfast place that's not locally owned but really good. Right there. That's where they are. So anyway, go check them out. And I've put this offer out there a few times. If you'd like to go with me to this place, I will schedule alongside you. You just go ahead and schedule however you want to, and then let me know, hey, my class is on this day at this time. Would you like to go with me? And if I can, I will. I promise. And you can hit me up at media@fortworthroots.com. I believe that's right. media@fortworthroots.com. Yeah. Where are we at? McFly's. I do like this bar. So Jana Renee, oh Jesus, I did it again. It's Yana. It's Yana Renee. Sorry. It's spelled Jana, but it is Yana Renee. She's a local artist that's very heavy in the Fort Worth mural scene. She's got murals all over the city. Anyway, did a little recording with her yesterday, and she mentioned Casey at McFly's, the owner. And I said, well, you want to pop in there real quick? It's right down the street. And so we went and did exactly that. And then finally Casey showed up, and that was good. And I was able to iron out a date and a time to get Casey on the show. So it just kind of worked out. But anyway, what am I getting at? It's a really badass place. It's also got that chill vibe I was talking about with Pouring Glory. They do a lot of music. They've got a singer-songwriter open mic night once a week, and just some kind of activity going on all the time that we will keep you up to date with on our Fort Worth Roots Facebook page. Go check it out there. Or you can get McFly's on their Instagram or on their Facebook, and I think they even have a TikTok now. And they are very active on their social media stuff, so you can go check them out. McFly's is a 1980s Back to the Future themed bar with a very impressive outdoor area and fire pit. Hang out and bring some friends for pool, darts, cornhole, jumbo, Jenga, and catch live music. Local musicians on stage multiple times every week. There's always something going on at McFly's. They're located out of that East Gate for the military base. It's a Fort Worth address, but it's in River Oaks on Meandering. You just get on Meandering, go all the way down. Right before you hit the gates for the military base, you will arrive at McFly's. And arrive you should. It's excellent. Their bartenders are fun. Like I said, they got the pool table there. There's music pumping all day. And the patio is really badass. So check it out. Bring your dog too if you want to. And Pouring Glory does a dog-friendly Sunday or dog park Sunday. It's always dog-friendly, but they shut the gates to the patio at Pouring Glory on Sundays from 11 to 4, and your doggy can run free. It's a good deal. So anyway, them's the sponsors. The event that I wanted to tell you about is June 24th, and you're all invited. We're going to be out there at Pouring Glory, and I'm calling it Podcast and Networking. I couldn't think of a better name. I'm sorry. But anyway, if you have a business, if you have music, if you're a podcaster, if you're, trying to promote anything at all, come on out and record with us. It will start at 11 o'clock, and we're going to go probably until about 8 o'clock. Okay, I have talked way too much. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.